In the previous video, I made a video tutorial on how to make a floor plan using Twinmotion.
Thank you.
This time, I will make a video tutorial for making an elevation plan using Twinmotion so that later you can make an elevation plan like this, or like this. Of course, later we also need to do post-production rendering using Photoshop in the final stage.
Do it! Just do it!
Okay, now we just jump straight into the video. As you can see, I've prepared a 3D model that will be used for this elevation plan tutorial. Of course, we just opened Twinmotion 2023.1. After Twinmotion opens, we just close the home screen template and we just delete the starting base. Because if we import the starting base, it won't automatically disappear. The next step is that we directly import the 3D model that was prepared earlier into Twinmotion. Here, I replaced the grass and rock materials in the 3D model. After I replaced the ground material, I replaced the glass material in the building. Here, I don't replace a lot of materials in the building. This is because later we will crop the building using the section tools on Twinmotion. After I replaced all the materials, the next thing was I added vegetation elements around the building. After the vegetation is finished adding, then we go to the library, then select Tools, then select Sections. Click the Cube section and navigate to the building. Here, you can see, the building and ground are both cut off because of the section cube. Next, we'll select the scale and we'll resize the section cube. As you can see, I cut almost in half the building and I also cut some of the ground. You can adjust how far you will cut the building. The next step, I went into the media to render the scene. After I adjusted the building's position, click on the eye image and select the parallel position, so it looks like an elevation plan, then you turn on the path tracer. And up here our tutorial has finished.
What?
Of course it's not over yet. Next, we will do the settings on the properties. We continue to the next stage. Here I made 3 different layers using 3 scenes, and also set the contrast and saturation for each scene. When we duplicate the scene, the duplicate scene will return to the perspective position. So we need to rearrange the settings so that it becomes an image with a parallel position. Okay, now we will edit the first scene. The first layer is the house and the background. Here, we will remove the vegetation and leave the mountain background. You can remove vegetation by turning off the I button for all vegetation on the scene panel. Then click refresh on the scene. On the second layer, you can remove the mountain background, and on the third layer, you only need to leave the building alone. Of course you can do it using the same method as you removed the vegetation in the first scene. You can follow the steps in this video too. Here, I see that the background color still looks a bit yellow, so I use white on the basic material and copy it to the starting ground. After the 3 layers are finished, you can just export the image. However, before I export the image, I first edit the image resolution to 4K resolution so that later it's comfortable for us to edit in post-production render. Click the export panel, then select the type of image that you want to export. It can be PNG or JPG, then in your details select refinement on high and turn on max lighting. The next step is post-production rendering in Photoshop. First of all, you enter the rendering results into Twinmotion. Here, you can follow the layer arrangement in Photoshop like in the video. After you enter the 3 images, the next thing is to delete the white background as in the video. Here the background that I deleted was only on 2 layers, the layer on the building image only and the layer on the buildings and vegetation. After the background is removed, the next step is that you need to create a layer to create the ground section. Here I will use white as the color of the ground like the example in the image at the beginning of the video. After finishing making the ground section layer, duplicate the layer, then invert the color on one of the ground section layers. Lower the white layer so that later it will appear like an outer line. After you created the soil layer, you need to add a new layer. The function of this layer is to create clouds. Here, I made a cloud using a brush in Photoshop. Once done, you need to make some finishing adjustments and then you can export the image. And voila, the elevation plan using Twinmotion has been completed. Okay guys, that's all for the video tutorial for making an elevation plan using Twinmotion. If you have criticisms and suggestions, you can comment in the comments column below. See you in the next video. Ciao!